Good day, my fellow youth out there, African youth, Eastern youth. I want to thank you especially, my fans from the US who are listening to me from that part of the world. I want to appreciate your time. I want to appreciate you. I want to appreciate my viewers from the UK. I want to appreciate my viewers from the France. I want to appreciate my viewers from the country that we are in, Nigeria. It's our country. I have come again this morning. I've told you we are battling with system failures, electrical failures, one problem or the other, but we have conquered, But today, I want to bring you towards our God. I sometimes doubt this three-letter word, G-O-D. So I prefer calling him my Father in heaven, so that I can narrow my request to whom I want to narrow it to. You remember that the rise of the Maccabees from the Syria authority was to stamp out the Jewish effort in religion, and they introduced their own altar of religion, where Zeus was called the god, and everybody has to worship Zeus. When the Herodian dynasty came on board after the birth of Jesus Christ, Zeus was a concern, and that concern of Zeus lasted until the Roman Empire emerged in authority. The Roman Empire campaigned that the empire of freedom of worship and worship whatsoever you may was part of the campaign, and agreeing to what will be called the name of the Supreme was also part of the campaign. So the word G-O-D was agreed as a name, and that is why that name has no effect in all our prayers. Because why? We want to achieve a central language, which cannot be possible. I try to look into the time that a people tried to achieve such a central language to build a tower to heaven. They never made it, because it's not the way forward. Now, Zeus stamped out. During this era, Africa still have their religion. Africa still have their culture. It was after the invasion of the Herodian dynasty that African religion, African culture began to be a concern to the then authority of the world. Why? Because these people that follows the star, these people that follows the sun, these people that follows the moon, these people that they know every element of their movement, who are these people? Our compass is usually our hand. The African uses his hand to make the square and to make the compass. The African man introduces architectural and archaeological measurement with only the hand, following the stars of heaven, the sun and the moon, to discern or to discover or to acknowledge or to show or to assume any secret treasure. That was taken from a black man, what you call astrological study of today, was just what a black man sit in his house with just his hand and control the universe. That was the power of Imo. They said no, that God should be stopped. Check the history of today Israel. Was there any time they were slaves? Was there any time today Israel have ever moved in quest? Check. Go and make your research. So the today Israel is not the Israel the Bible is talking about. The Israel the Bible is talking about is the black race. I want to open your eye. I've been studying this throughout my lifetime. I've been studying religion. I've been studying what we call worship or what we call doctrines. And I discovered that this information I'm passing to you is a fact. If you look at the time of the gold drum, which has the inscription of a black king with his armor of war kneeling down before his God, and the God he knelt down to, behind the coin was a symbol of 3 lights. That was the black man money, the gold ram, written the Holy of Israel. So, is that history in the Israel of today? Is it in their history? It is not in their history. It is not in their genealogical past. The people that this information is in the genealogical past is the black race, the Imo. That is the Israel. But the scripture now use the city, established the people. Apparently, 85% of residents of Israel of today are northern Germans. If we should trace our history, information, we know who is who. So, Jerusalem was a city built by the blacks, and that was the World Trade Center. Jerusalem fell when Herodian dynasty ruled onto the Babylonian dynasty. They descended upon Jerusalem, the city, because here, Africa that founded the city has fallen. Babylon moved forward. And that treaty was signed in the palace of Ethiopia. That was why Ethiopia retained her name. Other African nations, their name died in conquest because of the single betrayal of Ethiopia and the Kenya of today. So the fight against the light in Africa didn't start today. It was there from the beginning. And Africa have been the quest, have been the focus of the Western community to feed themselves. Today, that slavery have continued. The God they brought to you and I is not the God. It is a different thing. It is a political arrangement and was pioneered by the Roman Empire. And they use Roman Catholic Church to institute this God in every land. That was their mission, and they accomplished it. Why they were busy moving with religion? Because Africa, that is what we believe in, the worship of our deities. Now, the Eze-one, the mother goddess in our culture, they classified it into Mary Magdalene statue and deceive our people and said it is the same thing. Even though a good number of our fathers never believed that it is the same, but they have used it to give us a movement. They have used it to give us a movement, and since then, our fathers have worked upon the People's Liberation Movement. So this People's Liberation Movement of today, which IPOB is part of, MASOB is part of, ESN is part of, every arm is part of this People's Liberation Movement. Which people? The people of Biafra, the black race. Biafra is just the black race. The Republic of Biafra is just the Republic of the black race. There was no Ghana when Biafra was there. There was no Sierra Leone, there was no Liberia, there was no Guinea-Conakry, there was no Guinea, there was no Congo. It was all Biafra territory. But today, the blacks have lost their sanctity. They have descended lower to the dust. But it is time for the black nation to rise again from the dust. It is time for it to rise above every other nation in its perfect state. And that black nation is the nation of Biafra. We cannot continue as a people to be ignorant of who we are and what we are and what we are capable of doing. Technology was taken from Africa to the Western community. They stole it from us. And that is why they cannot allow us to practice it. Because why? They know it is our gift, it is our own. When we do, we will surmount them all. That is why an African man cannot produce common ebiro. An African man cannot even fashion this beautiful stuff and wonderful stuff before me. Why? Because he has been made not to know that he can do it. When he does it, it is a crime. But when the white man does it, it is a good thing. Now, there is no company in Africa that can produce a common gun. I mean, double barrel. We don't have one. But that doesn't mean the gift is not there. That doesn't mean the gift is not there. I had a master when I was growing up. My father introduced me to a brassmith who taught me how to forge iron, who taught me how to make iron, who taught me how to be creative with metal. And one day I had an experience. Police invaded our noble creative yard and carted away all machineries of my master. All molding machines, everything was removed and taken to police station. What happened? That the gun, the hunter's gun he produced was used to shoot somebody in the bush. Could you imagine? And because of that, a dream, a vision was crippled down. All the machines were taken by the police and was not returned back. They all rotten. That gift went away. And that was how I stopped going to learn brassmithing that I was learning, and I diverted into welding. And I discovered the difference between welding and brassmithing. Now, a welder cannot produce a vessel, but a brassmith can produce a vessel. He can forge iron in its measurement and produce whatsoever thing he can produce. But a welder can only fit and fashion. You see, they deny us the gift and give us the power. How can you function properly when you have the power without the gift? What is the foundation of the power? That is why we cannot stand in this political system of government. That is why we cannot stand in this tyrannical system of government. So now, the God, I want you to look into the God, then look into the money. This is where the evil lies. Listen, the white man cannot give you a good thing. An American person can never give you a good gift. All we do see there with this, it is, look, take this and they will take something from you. They cannot give you anything without taking something more than equal in measure of that thing they give to you. This is what the British stands for. This is what the American stands for in Africa. So there is no effort an African man will make that will worth anything unless Africa is really free and independent. Independent from these blood suckers. They suck us like where tick is descend on dogs. They suck us like where etu. You know what is etu? Etu. It's a blood. It's a blood sucker. What's his name? That's how they are sucking us. What is the name of this? My language is called it. It's a black moving mysterious biological element like that. When I remember the name, I will tell you. So they suck us dry.